Look, I know I just started a new project to make Victorian clothing, but I have an event coming up soon and I need a vest, so I think I'd better make that instead. Hello, it's Icy. Yeah, I know. I did just start off the Victorian project, finish the chemise, which is hanging up there and blends in beautifully with the curtains I've got at the background. But yes, I do have a big 4-day con coming, well, 3 days. I'll be there for 4. Con coming up soon. From when I'm recording this video, about 2 months. So I really should make the vest I wanted to that goes with this skirt. So this is I want to call it a cottagecore, goth, grunge cottagecore skirt that I made in a previous video. Link in the corner and in the description possibly, but in order to complete the look, because it is a look and I want options, I need a vest to go with it as well. So this is Ponte di Roma, I believe is the fancy way of saying it, which is basically a heavy duty 2-way stretch. So it's black on one side and this great, very grunge 1980s check on the other. And it's lovely. It's so nice. So I want to make a fitted vest out of this that I can wear with the skirt. I do want to make it reversible. In that the skirt is completely reversible. Yeah, I want to make the vest reversible as well. Is that a wise idea? When has that stopped me? So with regards to patterns, my idea is actually based off, I think, this jacket, which is why I'm wearing it. It's, well, it's freezing in this room, so I'm wearing it for that too. But I don't know if we can see this here. Okay, so this jacket is designed in such a way that maybe I will do it up so you can see better. So it's fairly fitted, though the vest I make would be even more so. But I just want to show you the shape here. So it's actually got a separate front panel, padded in this case, and then 2 scooped side panels, and then a separate back panel again. So what I want to do is actually replicate the idea of this so that the front panel is are 2 kind of panels, and then the side pieces are a complete piece with no side seam. I think that will look pretty flattering. It should not be, hopefully, too hard to do in stretch material. That should make it fairly forgiving, the design. Let me show you what I've got here. There we go. Okay, so the plan would be, for the front, I want a shawl collar and coming down to a fastening point sort of under the bust. So basically it will be double-breasted. Now the reason I want to keep it sort of double-breasted is because if it's reversible, I think that will be the easiest way to have it so I can fasten it if it's got a decent amount of overlap. So the idea it will come from the shoulder here and down to about here and meet on that kind of princess line side seam, whatever. It'll sort of meet there and then be fastened there. So it will be wrapped / double-breasted. So we see how we go. And then on the back, I'll replicate those same sort of lines. The back will look a lot more like a conventional sort of jacket, but I think I'm probably going to quite exaggerate these curves as well. Same on the front. I'm going to make it really quite over the top. And the other thing I think I'm going to do is, for example, on the back, I might have it so that the check is on the diagonal, and on the sides make it so the check's on the horizontal. The advantage of that is that means I don't need to worry too much about matching patterns on the visible seams here, because rather than needing to match the check, it's actually going to be a specific contrast. So I think that should solve that problem. Is it a problem that it's going to be on the cross for the large pieces? I don't think so, because the material is stretch in both directions already. I don't think having it on the cross is going to add like extra stretch. It's probably going to add a little bit, but it's already a stretch material, so I don't think having it diagonally will cause too many additional issues. So we'll see. Yeah, that we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to use this jacket as a first initial kind of patterning option, and then we'll see what happens. Let's do this. The lighting is not great at nighttime. I can't use the overhead light here because it's right in the way. So let's talk about what we've got here. Now, so the last bit of the pattern making was me basically taking the full curves I've measured and taking the curves and moving it around so that I could have a single piece on the side. That was relatively successful. For a first go, this is not, like, honestly, not terrible. What I forgot, of course, was this was meant to be double-breasted. Completely slipped my mind. I mean, I guess, unwisely in a bit of a rush, getting the pins. Never a great idea to do this sort of stuff in a rush, but you see, I have half a day off tomorrow. So I really want to get some stuff done. So hence I want to do as much prep as I can tonight. That way we can get things going. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, so the shoulder, I cut out the back ones. I forgot to leave seam allowance. That's fine. I would say this is okay. This does need to be taken back out to here. I do, or at least I thought I wanted a shawl color on this. I think I might need to just chop a bit of something and sort of drape it around my neck and just check I still want that. It's actually not terrible with a V-neck. I can probably chop a little bit of the rest of this calico out of the scraps and just sort of, you know, drape some stuff around there and just see if that's going to work. So I think that's better there. Now let's talk. Let's talk here first. Okay, so ultimately the dimension around the widest point, around the bust point, is fine. Like across the back, I could probably take a little bit out because the final thing is going to be made out of stretch material, so I don't need any ease. But to be honest, sort of from size-wise, if I was making this out of non-stretch, I would be relatively satisfied. So what we're talking here is, okay, you can see we've got, like, there's that much that needs to come out from the equivalent of a dart. Now, I allowed for some of that when I was designing this, but obviously not correctly. But the other thing is I don't want to just pinch this off here because I think the curve will hit at the wrong spot then. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of pinch this up here. So basically I want the side panel to stay probably almost the same. Ouchie. And I'm going to take the volume out of the top section, I think, instead. So I should just be able to kind of curve that to, if I do that to there, pin that. So the idea, I've done this in like my longest stitch length and I haven't finished any of the seams like at the end. So I should just be able to literally rip this whole thing apart and that should be fine. So same on the other side, if I can manage it without injuring myself, as you do. And I am honestly fairly happy, I think, with the pattern. It does look like vaguely Victorian. I mean, possibly. I might just like draw all this up properly and keep it for the Victorian, like the Victorian style when I get to it. I'll think about it. I'll find some like proper example patterns of that and then go from there. So, all right. Yeah, that's sitting better. Now, one thing, I didn't know what I was doing. So for the side panel, I took the two angles and then just made it nice and even. And of course, that's the wrong way. I should have it be curving the other way on the hip. So I basically need to draw that line like completely reversed, which is fine. We can do that. Now, the other thing is there is not by any means enough room in the hips. So where this is joining, I mean, that's a respectable sort of overlap there. But down here, it's not at all. I'm not wearing any sort of shapewear or anything. But I think I don't want it to be pulled too tight, even if it's stretch. I think I do want it to sit nicely. It could be probably pulled tighter over the bust. That's probably not really an issue. But over the hips in stretch, I think that would be not great. I can see this is gaping a little weirdly, even without being pulled back. However, a collar, well, either a wrap effect should take care of that. So a wrap / double-breasted or a collar, I think will fix up this kind of not quite sitting correctly. Because otherwise I need to start talking about darts in the top. So I think I should be able to fix that up with, yeah, I think I should be able to fix that with a collar, basically. I'm regretting now not just leaving the rectangle on these. Cutting the rectangle off was probably a bad idea. So what I need to do is loosen these off. I think I'll add, can we rip that? Yep. Okay. So I'll just pull that open, pin it instead. Ultimately, I'll transfer all of the markings to the pattern as well. Oh, and the other thing I realized, I forgot to mark the shoulder matches as well. I remembered down the sides, but I didn't actually remember on the top of the shoulders, which is a problem. Okay, how's that? See, that's... Okay, so that's now sitting properly at the front, which is good. So let me just pin pin that as well. So you can see though, I've got, it's baggy there. Now, I've got I've got like a sway back and a tummy, which is not the best look. So really what I need to do is basically I usually almost always need to add additional darts and additional curving down the back of whatever I make. Now I already was fairly dramatic, I thought, in the back, but I think not enough. So if I do that, I think that's okay. The other thing I'm thinking is I don't think this really needs to be this long. Because especially if I'm going for a more Victorian look, I'm probably better with it, being slightly closer to the waistline rather than lower. That's okay. It's easy to take the bottom off something. The other thing I'd suggest is possibly I might get rid of, whoops, have I popped a pin? Yes, I have. I might reduce the width of the shoulders slightly. Yeah. I mean, I took these pattern measurements off like jackets, so not vests. So that's fine. I don't really need to chop anything off because the seam allowance, basically that's a built-in seam allowance if we're going with, if I'm going to double layer it, and if I'm not, I'll just trim it off. I think that's okay. Yeah, okay, that's better. So, all right, so I need to take in, sorry, I'm just trying to, it's a little hard. 1 centimetre on each side, it feels like. No, 2 centimetres on each side. Basically, yeah, a thumb's width in on either side. Can I pin this? Wow, fitting on yourself is rather tricky. I could use the mannequin, but it's loaded up with clothes. And also, it's not terrible, but it's not going to give me this kind of fit. Really. It's not bad. And I've managed to pad it out in a reasonable way that it's close-ish. Okay, how's that? It's not the worst. It's not the worst. Okay, so the other thing I'd say is from here, this point to there would make it flat. Ow. So I need to add like 1 centimetre to the back side panel at the back of the side panel, or centimetre, even 2 actually. Okay, and the other thing I'd say is, okay, feels like loosening off the little panels at the front has eased the tension across the back, and that feels, let me just, I'll just stand in each position for the camera, and then I can go back and look at the footage later and look for any weird, wrinkles to see if I can work out what's going on with the fitting. Okay, so first mock-up is not bad. Hey, look, even if the rest of it doesn't work, I am still nonetheless impressed. I managed to pull off the side panels as a single piece, and it's perfectly fine. So let me put some more bits together, and then we'll see how we go. Hello, I'm back. It's the next day. Okay, so I am fully shapeweared, and one thing I noticed is I'm wearing the bra I was wearing when I was doing the fitting is was a new style. It's very comfortable, but it is not giving me the correct position, shall we say. So I've got the good one on. Right, let's take a look now. Okay, so I've added, basically I've sewn in the changes I've marked out. I've realized I made the changes to the paper pattern, which was probably unnecessary, and also I'm wondering why my stand is crooked. Anyway, the phone is ever so slightly crooked, but that's okay. Let's see. Doesn't matter. There's nobody else here right now. So this is my morning off. I've got some things, personal things I need to do in the afternoon. So I've actually taken the day off work. Now, okay, so I've taken in the gap here, which you can see that now fits, but what it's doing is there's this weird like diagonal creasing. So I think, and also, even though I took out some more through the back, as you can see, it is nowhere near enough. I've also absolutely stuffed my shoulder, so I'm not really, mostly I'm gonna, actually let's do this properly, I'm gonna take it off to pin it, because the whole reaching around the back has done me an injury. So let's pin these in. Let's just pin that like that, and then this one, let's just make that slightly more secure. Okay, so I took out like 4 centimeters. So now I'm taking out another 4, basically, out of the back. So hopefully that will do. Okay, so so the side, right? That, let's put it back on and take a look. I'm going this way, so I don't put too much pressure on my shoulder. I'm going to go and see the physio tomorrow. We'll see what they say. Okay, all right, I can tell already that's better, because it's sitting like at the back. I can feel it actually sitting on my back, which is where it needs to go. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that feels better. Yeah, that feels better. Okay, now then let's now the other disadvantage is what that means, because I've taken more out of the back. Then I need to add some more here, and that's already sewn as sort of far out as it can. However, I think what I want to do is I should add, in order to kind of keep that kind of curve idea, what I'll do is on the front piece I'll add like probably maybe that much to the pattern. I might recut the front pieces anyway, because I still, as you can see, I still haven't done the overlap, so I might just cut a new pair of front pieces, add a good like 5 centimeters on that corner, and then I can like tweak how that sits there. Now, something else. I was talking about this before and then got distracted. Oh no, hang on. Has that fixed it? Oh, okay. So, all right. I think. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so I think just taking in the back, like I was worried about all of these vertical sort of creases under the arm, but I think there's still a few. But honestly, I think just taking out more out of the back has actually kind of fixed that. The lighting, it's very, very cloudy today, so even though that window is completely open and I've got some other lights bouncing around the room, it's not that great. Okay, right. That's not, It's not terrible. Okay, I definitely need to add, yeah, more here. Unless, oh no, I mean, oh, do I? Yeah, I mean, I will, but also if this is a whole separate piece that's gonna like fully overlap, or at least it's gonna overlap to this line, that'll probably be fine. Now, let's just come in a bit closer. One sec. Okay, let's have a look. So the other thing that's going on here is, let's repin this again. Alright. Yeah. Okay, so I just need to be super precise about this section here, because basically what's happening is, yeah, there's like weird gaping like under the bust. Once again, it probably doesn't matter overly with stretch material. However, it would be great, yeah, if I could actually end up using this pattern for the eventual Victorian. The Victorian vest. You know, this project, like all my projects, was meant to be very, very quick and dirty, and I was just gonna throw some bits together and sew some things and we'd be all good. Is that what we've got here? No, of course not. Of course not. That is by no means what's actually happening here. Okay. All right, so I think the next step is to, can I take any more out of that side? So I'll basically, I'm going to fully rip the stitches for the whole thing now. I'm going to, actually I might probably trace where the sewn lines are on all the pieces first. Oh yeah, that's better, isn't it? And I can bring, yeah, because I could bring this curve further out probably. I think I could bring, actually I think that would be good if I bring this curve further around and then kick it out more there, and probably take the corresponding, like add some more here. The other thing is it still feels like, I don't know, something somewhere is still too tight, because it's still sitting, like it's kind of gathering, ruching, is it ruching? Ruching up. I'm not adverse to using a little bit of boning in this also. I reckon I should, even if it's stretch. If it's a single layer, I'm just going to flat fell the seams. And if I use very generous seam allowances, and I'm just using very super thin boning, either I've got some quite thin light cable ties, that might work, or I could just get some, is it Rigoline? Something. Anyway, some like really lightweight boning. I could probably thread that through the felled seams here and on the back. And I think that would probably work, even on the stretch version. Obviously, if I'm making a Victorian style one, I might have more than that even, which would be fine. But okay, I think that's doing okay. Let me just pin out this properly. So this is like mock-up. This is like mock-up 1.5, I guess, because all I've really done here is just undo some seams and then like pin and stitch in a few different places. So I think what we're going to do now is we're actually going to make like a proper second mock-up, where I'll rip the whole thing apart, retrace everything. See this little flap here, you can see that's actually just, is that just the additional material? No, there's still, yeah, there's maybe something. I think I need to change the angle of that curve, but I've just kind of sewn that on. So if I change the angle of that curve there, and I still do want, though that's quite nice, I still want a like a shawl collar, I think. So hang on. If I just borrow the rest of the material I've got. Also, I've chosen the wrong piece of material to do my, what's his names out of mock-ups, because I should have used the lighter stuff instead of, this is my heaviest calico, which means now I don't have any calico for doing the eventual corset mock-up. I'll need to get some more. But if I do that, yes, okay, so just tuck that away. It's going to look maybe too formal. It's okay, I think. I'm quite happy with that neckline. So I will make a collar as part of the next mock-up as well, so I can have a look and see how that goes. And I have enough of the actual material that if I cut a collar out and then decide to not sew it on, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to be wasting like precious centimeters. So, and then I could always use the scraps and turn it into, I don't know, pockets or something, ties or whatever. Okay, all right. I think that's not bad. Let's do this again, like that. I realize the back will look better if I pinned the whole seam, but I think it's fine. But my goodness me, wearing even though they are in fact modern undergarment shapewear, wearing the correct shapewear makes a huge difference. And it is the shapewear that I would be wearing underneath when I would be wearing this vest. Oh, actually the other thing I want to do while we're here is actually mark the front. Okay. So, oh, this is terrible. I can't see what I'm doing. Is that drawing? Oh yeah, it is. That's a disadvantage, is I can't even see where that's going. Okay, and then so the back is basically correct actually, I think. So I need to add that there, which I think I've already taken into account in the redone side pattern, so that should be okay. Let's just tuck that up anyway. Yeah, that's nice. Do I want to get rid of? Do I just want to go higher? Maybe. No, I think this length is, for the stretch version, I think this length is suitable because I think that length is suitable because I'll be wearing it with a variety, hopefully, of skirt, not just the skirt you've seen, but a few different ones. And they have different waist heights, or even like pants as well. If I'm going for a Victorian one, it can go higher up because the waistline is sort of at true waist as opposed to the top of your hips. So that should be okay. All right. Just untuck that. Yep, I think that's okay. All right, let's see if we can turn that into mock-up number 2. Okay, so mock-up number 2.0 is assembled. Okay, so shawl collar. Ignore the drawing that I was doing before. I had to go away and have a little look up to actually how to draft one properly. So, like, it looks great. I just need to, I think, make it broader, because folded over, it's just a little too skinny. I think I'm getting like serious like evening jacket vibes from the thickness of the collar, which is not what I'm going for. So I think it needs to be probably, if I just fold over, take off, I don't know, like a centimetre or so off the width I've got now. Okay, so that's about right. So I think that's the final length that I want the collar to be. So very like significant, but about there. And then so lengthwise it would need to come back again, overlap, so it covers the seam. But I think that is pretty good. All right, so with the overlap, it is just completely not wide enough. So I don't know what I'm doing here. This point here is meant to join all the way over to here where the seam is. Ditto on the underside, and it's nowhere close. So either I just leave it and perhaps have ties rather than buttons, or I need to recut this again. Now, still getting a lot of the gather through here, and also this in here is like huge, like it's weirdly loose, even though this is all like sitting nicely. So I'm not quite sure what to do there. I think I just have to, I think maybe now I need to take that back again. So maybe, so even though the front section is sitting fine now, it sort of seems to be okay, I think maybe I need to take some room back out of the side piece at the top. I think that feels okay. Let's do that. Pin that there. I've run out of calico. This is the last mock-up. Though I will make changes on the actual, on the panels, basically. I think that's fine. I was very impressed I managed to cut the collar inside the previous front pieces. Excellent use of fabric. Okay, so if I do that. Now the other thing, I think I just completely need more room in here. So I think, okay, maybe what I do is, I know I keep disappearing off camera, I'm just finding the pattern pieces, which have fallen down, so I can't do it. Okay, so the side piece, I think what I want to do, I'm going to cut a slit here and then maybe taper in the top, so where the side piece is currently kind of this oval shape, make it more teardrop shape. I think that should fix this bit here, this gappiness at the top. But the fact it's sort of still really pulling across here. Let's do that. Let me take that pin back out. Okay, so let me just fold that through the middle, and then I'm gonna just slice it by, I don't know, maybe, I guess sort of halfway up. So even though I'm out of fabric, I'll just I can just piece another section on here. That's fine. Okay, so that one. All right, let's do the same over here. Might be too much. We'll see. And I think I can fix also. I don't think it's too much of a worry on the stretch, but I think I can fix some of that. We'll see if this fixes the weird bits. like the wrinkling, but I think partly I can fix the wrinkling by tipping the grain line. I think if I tip the grain line so it points more towards the back, so the back of the underarm rather than vertically, I think that might fix the grain line, like the weird shaping. The other reason I'm getting some like weird crinkles as well is because the seams are gathering a little bit because I've used such a large stitch. Okay, all right. Now, whoa, did that fix all my problems? Did that fix my problems? Okay. Oh. Okay. The answer is yes. Yes, that fixed my problems. Okay. So, alright, I want to take out... Love it. Can probably still do a bit of a, like, create this, the side pieces, I think. Let me just pin that on that side and the other side, and I'll try it back on. So yeah, but like as you could see, like a good 5 centimeters across the hips, and taking out 2 centimeters under the arms, I think. All right, let's try that one more time. I'm running out of time. The thing I'm doing this afternoon is I need to get ready for that, like, in 10 minutes or so, and that'll take me at least half an hour. Okay, now, oh, hey, all right. Yes. All right, so obviously take that all the way down to the cut. So that's on the, I probably cut that maybe 5 centimeters, no, 3 centimeters too high. So it's now sitting above my natural waistline, like the bottom of the rib cage, basically. So I could add, an extra inch, pin that back again. Okay, and then that's the point, which comes to there and there. So I didn't cut the collar going all the way to the point, and I think I should have. All right. Okay. Let me find a scrap. I think I need to pin this properly, get it at least close, possibly with a bigger piece of material as well, because I don't think that's working for me there. Okay, but I think in general, I think that has fixed the problem. Okay, so some of this will go away when if it's a single layer, I'll just take off a centimeter and a half off around here, which should fix this kind of gaping section as well. If it's not going to be a 2-layer, then that's basically 2 pieces. So the final armhole will be slightly smaller. It's not bad. And I think if I'm gonna have it so I think this kind of curve out to match the line of the seam, which is taking out over here, is unnecessary. Oh, maybe I curve it back. Oh, maybe I mirror the curve. That's good. So there and then there. Oh, yes, I like that. Oh yeah, that's a much better idea. Okay, so I'll do that. And then, yeah, have it buttoned. It should be fairly easy to do, like a reversible kind of affair, or possibly even a tie instead of a button, especially if it's doing this kind of curve back again. Maybe. I think that's a decision for the final thing. Okay. And yeah, not too tight across the back either. I made a mock-up. Okay. So my next bit, yeah, basically make a new side panels. I'm not gonna make them. I'm just gonna make a new pattern. Probably draw up the patterns properly and add seam allowance on the patterns because I've just been guesstimating. So let's be precise about this thing, and then we'll see. I'm spending a lot longer than I had anticipated on this project. You would think I would have learned by now. It's fine. Okay, so I just want to show you the real differences that millimeters can make to a fit. So when I sewed this together, I offset the side pieces from the front and the back pieces by 5 millimeters, so that I didn't need to then trim the insides because I'm planning to do felt seams for all of these. And as you can see, if I do this, let me add the collar, which I haven't sewn in yet, this way, I look like I should be wearing a flat cap, gumboots with a newspaper, standing on a fence, looking out over the fields at my sheep, which is not the vibe I was going for. So let me show you. So in essence, what I've done is I've inadvertently added at least 2 centimeters around the whole thing. So that's no. I think if this was not stretch material, that would be fine. But it is stretch, and so it's an unfortunate. So even if I've got the corner taken to the seam here, you can see there's like way heaps and heaps of space at the back, and also all like under here and like here. So, and also you can really see the shoulders are too broad. Now I've already done some tests pinning, but I just want to show you live as I do this how much of a difference some changes can make. So if I tuck the shoulder width in by a decent amount, I've still got that same shirt on because it's got the puffed sleeves that give the kind of Victorian vibe. So if I tuck those in, actually let's just take that off for the minute, all of a sudden, can you see what a big difference that makes? Just reducing the width of the shoulders by a third means that works a lot better. So the other thing, so let me pin that. I should really set the white balance on the camera before I start recording, because I've noticed as I come in and out it doesn't cope so well, because the whiteness of my face very much overwhelms the camera when I step closer, compared to the blackness of my shirt when I step back. Don't change? No. Alright. So the other thing I want to do is, oh bugger it, I'll stand here because I need somewhere to put the pins. So let me go through and pin all this. So basically, I can see that even though this is all pinned, like I've only added 2 centimeters basically to the whole thing. I can feel as I'm wearing it, I need to take out more than half a centimeter on each seam. So I'm going to pin out basically probably 1 centimeter down all of the seams, and then I will show you the difference. Okay, right. Now, let me show you now how this looks. Okay, you can see that's sitting so much better, except because we're talking about taking out volume, right, to make the whole thing look better. But I just want to show you one other thing. So I've taken out evenly, slightly more at the waist at the back, and you can see that's now actually sitting properly. So it's hugging the curves, taking into account my very sway back. But you can see here now, too much. So if I take out the 1 centimeter pins for the underarm, only at the front, the back ones are fine. And then I do that, now that sits so much better. And you can see now the whole thing is actually coming together and looking flattering. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out at least another 4 centimeters, I think, around the whole thing. So if I tuck this all up, I think even actually I could probably, you see how that's sort of like really gapy at the back? I could possibly take a little more out at the back. I didn't pin, because I knew I was going to fold up the bottom, I didn't pin all the way down. So I think probably what I'll do is I'll chop the bottom off, and then I'll check the fitting down the back again before I make any serious changes. All right, let me just drape this again. Which way? I don't know. This way. Ugh. I don't suppose it really matters. So obviously this needs to get sewn in as well. So if I tuck that and that, there we go. Now it's gone from looking very 1980s British farmer TV show to something that's a bit more modern with a twist. Maybe it still looks, actually it probably still looks very 1980s farmer, but with a twist. Maybe I should try, I still have some material left, maybe I should try looking for a flat cap pattern. Is that too far? That's probably too far. So there we go. So that should be fine. The other thing I'll do is mostly in the pattern, the final pattern, I'm definitely going to take this off, because that's sitting top of the hip bones now, not below, and that should be count for all of my modern clothes as well as any of my kind of Victorian style. I don't think that's going to be a problem. And on the pattern itself, what I'll do is I'll draw in this sleeve line and mark it as a vest. But the wider points where it's sitting at the point of the shoulder, if I decide I want to turn that pattern into it, like this pattern actually that I've now drafted, wow. Oh, I've made a whole real pattern. I could add sleeves, especially if I leave that wider sleeve. So I think I'm going to leave that on the pattern and then just mark it. I'm gonna draw all that pattern up again properly, I think. So I've got a permanent pattern that fits me. Oh, I love that idea. Oh, I love that idea. Okay, I'll do that. And if you're curious, I've been using the IKEA rolls of craft paper. The more recent versions are really nice, very bright white, as you can see, quite good quality recycled, I think, paper. The previous lot was really terrible stuff to work with, but this is really nice. So I'll definitely be getting another roll of that whenever we go to IKEA next time. I don't know when that will be, but I'm very happy. This is good. This is looking flattering. Probably need just a teeny bit more work around the back here, just to get that sorted. It's going to be an absolute pain now because I've sewn all these seams. I'm either going to have to unpick everything and then re-chop. That was the other bit. I'm not going to go with double layer. This is like, there is sufficient, oh yeah, I forgot to take that into account when I've done the seams here. So there's sufficient structure with this material. I don't think I need 2 layers, and I think that would make it too hot and too overwhelming. But what I did forget to do was to leave enough gap down here to actually sew the, to put like a bone through. So when I unpick this and re-sew it, actually I'll probably have to sew them first and then unpick the second line, and then that should allow me enough room to actually put a bone in, sort of in the seams if I want. So is that required? I don't know. Well, I can just slide them in, see if it works or not, and then add them or not add them as needed. So anyway, I'm just really pleased with how this is looking, and it's amazing what some subtle changes can do to the look of a garment. So it's done. It looks really nice. Fits pretty well. A little bit of maybe a tiny bit of gaping at the back of the shoulders there, but I think that's okay. And it's really only if I do that. If I stand up nice and straight, looks real good. A little bit of room here still, but I don't want to take too much of that out, otherwise it keeps pulling the front of the vest open. I'm fine with how that's sitting. Like this is meant to be a modern vest. It's not like meant to be super kind of formal and buttoned all the way up, but really good. Single button closure here. There's one on the inside as well, which means that I can do this, turn the collar back over the other way. So this is all a single layer of heavy Ponte de Roma. It's flat felled, so all of the seams are tidied up and hidden. And the convenient thing is, actually I must, do you know what I've got to check? I've got to check if this is buttoned the right way around. But anyway, the other advantage is when it's turned inside out, the button still goes to the same side. So there we go. I have a check one side, black the other vest, and it looks really nice. I'm very happy with it. I think I've also got this option where I can pop the collar for a spot of contrast as well, which is yeah, I'm genuinely happy with this. The other thing is I'm absolutely going to take the changes I've made here, transfer them back to the paper pattern, specifically mostly around the length actually. This is good, like this is good here. If I'm going to take this to a Victorian style vest, which I will eventually, I'll probably make it just a tad shorter as well. Actually, probably what will happen is I'll use the pattern as it is once I add hem to it, because none of this is hemmed, because Ponte doesn't need it. So this is all unhemmed. It's only, basically, yeah, it's only the 4 seams, like 2 at the back, 2 at the front. There's no side seams, and the neckline for the collar. That's it. That's all I've got. But yeah, as you can see here, this, if I had a much smaller collar and had it buttoned to here, made it double-breasted or single-breasted or something, it would look very Victorian, which is like, oh, I've managed to do 2 jobs at once, which is excellent. So I am super happy with my new vest. I think it looks great. It's really comfortable. It fits beautifully. I'm happy with the pattern I developed. I did not mean for this project to actually be me developing an entirely new pattern from scratch. That was not the aim. However, we'll run with it. So I think back to the Victorian project after this. Yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm going to just put the corset on hold for a second and just do something easier like the petticoat, or if we're going to go to the corset. But I definitely did use all of my corset mock-up calico for the mock-ups for this. So I actually need to get some more of that before I can start. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what you've been working on in the comments. Or if you have any other ideas of what I can do with the last about 1.5 to 2 meters of ponte that I've got. I'm not sure. I could easily make a straight tube skirt. That would be fine, and certainly would only add to my existing tube skirt collection, to be honest. But if there's something else that I could make instead, then anybody has any ideas, let me know. But thank you very much for watching. If you haven't, please subscribe here on YouTube. I appreciate it. You can find all of my other social links in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.